One of the advantages of the premium plan is it would include 7 years, 100,000 miles, full coverage on the vehicle. Basically, the way it works is, pretend that's a car. Front bumper, rear bumper, everything in between. Only things not covered are called wear and tear items. Things like wiper blades. Wiper mechanism is covered, just a little rubber tip on the end isn't. Brake pads. If you think about your brake instrument, master cylinder, brake boosters, disc calipers, even seals and gaskets. Everything's covered, just the pad, just the wear portion of the brake isn't. A clutch, which you obviously don't have on this new Accord. Everything else is covered, and this is 100% all parts and all labor. Labor is the biggie in these repair bills, I'm sure you folks well know. Your car is built in Japan. The way you can tell is if you look at the VIN number, first digit tells your country of origin. 1 through 9 is North America, K is Korea. Surprising enough, J means Japan. Right now, parts aren't too bad, but as the yen, which is the Japanese currency, strengthens against the dollar, cost of parts go through the roof. As far as labor rates right now are $99 an hour. They're projecting within the next 3 to 4 years going to be in the $120, $130 range. So not only does it help protect you from a cost of repair bill today, average cost of repair bill today here is $1,121, but it protects you from the rising cost of repair bills down the road. Basically, as I mentioned, you'd have 7 years from today, 100,000 miles, and this is, by the way, as I said, all parts, all labor. That would be fully covered for you in your new Accord, and total cost for you is less than $30 a month, or about $1 a day. Does that make sense for the two of you?
Hold on. The whole selling point of the Accord was its maintenance record. Our salesperson said this is maintenance-free vehicle. We're not going to have a problem with it.
Right. The whole reason we're buying this one is they told us how great of a car it is. I mean, we're trading in that 2002. It's got 180,000 miles on it. I mean, I don't think all we did was change the brake pads on that.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, you're absolutely right, Mr. and Mrs. Powers. Hondas are amongst the most reliable vehicles in the world. They're wonderful, wonderful cars. But if something does go wrong, as we all know, they're not cheap to fix. The situation that you want to look at is the car right now is built with quite a few different components. I think we'd all be in agreement that if not 50% of the parts, not 20% of the parts, if 5%, if even just 1% of the parts in this vehicle were to go bad over the next 7 years, I'd venture to say that's a pretty decent car. Do you folks agree?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, just to give you an idea, the car is built with over 4,000 individual little working parts. So if we're talking about 1%, that's still 40 individual little components, many of which cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to repair. So I'm sure you folks could see that how for as little as $1 a day, or about 30 bucks a month, as part of your financing package, knowing that it's covered for the full term. Please do keep in mind, Hondas come with a 3-year or 36,000 mile coverage from the factory. You folks mentioned to me that you drive somewhere in between 12 and 15,000 miles a year, which means you're going to have about 2, maybe 2.5 years of coverage. We're looking at 75-month financing. That leaves you with over 4 years of payments and no coverage on the vehicle to pay. Here, at least you're covered for the full term of the financing, and even a year or two beyond should you pay off your loan a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
But your nephew does all our work on the car, and all I have to do is make him dinner. He doesn't charge me $99 an hour. I'd kill him.
You do make a nice casserole, honey.
I do. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we can have just our nephew do the work. I mean, can he do all that stuff? Will we still be covered under warranty the first 3 years, 36, if he does the work?
Depending on what sort of work we do and depending on his qualifications. If your nephew's an ASE certified technician, Honda does not require that you bring the car back to the dealership or anything else to keep your warranty in place from the manufacturer. The things to keep in mind are twofold. One, with a lot of these vehicles today, the sophistication level is such that it's not like in the old days where, I'll give you an example. I don't know what your first cars were, folks. My first car was a 78 Chevy Impala. If I had a problem with that car, back then you could pop the hood, actually climb inside the hood, tinker with it a little bit, it would start right back up again. Nowadays, if you go into our service department down the street, we don't have mechanics anymore. They're all technicians. What these guys are doing and ladies are doing is they're plugging in computers to read what the fault code is. They're going in, they're replacing components, they're doing things like that. So even if your nephew were to be able to do the work, and I'm sure he does excellent work, oftentimes an individual technician or an individual mechanic doesn't have access to all of the technology that a dealership would have to be able to know what the right code is. Keep in mind, he'd still have to buy the parts. It's not like anybody's going to give him the parts to fix, etc. And if he's not licensed to do the work, or if he's not at that qualification level, and something does end up going wrong, you're in a situation where you're making monthly payments on the vehicle, you're outside of warranty, and now you have headaches, concerns. It's not the reason that you're buying a new car. The reason that you're getting rid of your 180,000 mile car is you want to be able to drive it, you want to have carefree driving, and by doing it this way, at the $449 a month, you'd be fully covered for the full term. You'd have no headaches, no problems, drive the car and enjoy. Wouldn't you say that that would make sense for the two of you?
He didn't graduate, that is a good point.
All
Nice
right.
kid.
Yeah, he's a good kid. I guess we should bring it here. We'll do that one. Are you going to try to sell us anything else?
Absolutely. What else would you like to buy?
No, nothing else. Just
No,
that.
no,
We gotta get
that's
out of here.
plenty. Yeah.
All right.